That's
One
probably
leg or
as
two
much.
Well,
What you
Teeter
get
Bengal,
especially
Teeter Bengal married
not so little
Pa's
on
sister too. Teeter Bengal was sister to Pa.
Grandpa and Grandma, some people aren't going to know what farming life was like in Mount Pleasant and those communities that you grew up in Beale City. We'd like you to talk about each one of some significant experience when you were a child. Let people know, let the children of the children that are here know what growing up in Michigan was like when you grew up in the early 1900s. Would you care to tell somebody a story about what it was like?
All right, go ahead. You know something. All right, you first.
Well, Pa, for instance, Pa, you can tell us about, you've told us a lot of stories about the milking trucks and everything.
Oh,
And
wow,
Pa, you could tell us
that was after I was,
about the flu
when I
famine
first-
and stuff.
when I
Tell us
first brought up there, because we used to go out in the field, you know, and get the stones off in the field. We'd have an old stone boat, you know, and put stones on there and make a big stone pile and go along there and put some rails on the fence that had been knocked down and make a real fence, you know.
All I
That-
remember about that is
all
walking out.
real fences, you know.
Walking on the split rail fences?
Sure. That was fun.
Grandpa, you told us about having a milk route.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Well, that's.
What years did you operate the milk route?
We
Tell
all
us a little bit about it.
operate that milk route. Let me see. I was 15, about 1914.
And they go some, you know, split rail.
1914 or 15.
And you quit it when you moved here, 1923.
No, we didn't. We sold it. We sold out before we moved here. Oh, about 2 years. Sold it to Freddie Younger.
And from
What
19
year did you come down?
We came here in 1923.
How many years did you have it?
We had 11 years.
Well, subtract 11 from 21. You got 1910. Started at 1910.
1910. Well, probably did.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what it was like, Pa, having a milk route in those days.
Get up.
Oh, you mean getting up? We get up about 5:30 in the morning, go and feed the horses, go back in the house, get something to eat, leave at 6 o'clock. That was 27-mile round trip with teams, with horses. And we'd get in Mount Pleasant, feed the horses, we'd go down there and eat. Me and the other guy used to follow each other on the milk route for the last 6 miles, one team right behind the other one. And we'd go and eat. Court going on all the time. We go in the courthouse and listen to them.
Well, that was
How
all the
many,
horses
how many
were
big
That was one of the
containers
horses.
of milk would you carry, like whatever they...
Milk cans.
Yeah, milk cans. How many would you have on your wagon?
Well, in the summertime, in the spring, we'd have about 50 cans.
How many gallons would that be, Pa?
5.
Well, they weighed about 110 pounds for a can of milk.
I mean, you'd stop at farms along the route and pick up the
Yeah,
cans.
picked up the can.
Would they be sitting along the road, or did you have to drive?
Some places we'd drive in, but most of the place they'd set
Where
them
did
out.
you take them?
by their
Where
mailbox?
did you take them?
They had stands built by their mailbox and they set up high so we wouldn't. So our wagon had platforms on each side. I'd drive close to that where they had the milk cans, and I wouldn't have to get right on my platform and go over there and pick them up and sell them.
Did the
in there.
milk spoil by the time you get there?
No, they had just
Oh,
milked it. I mean,
sometimes when we'd have thunder showers or in bad weather.
Whatever.
If they didn't keep it
wouldn't
cool
they
enough
just
at
have-
night.
Wouldn't they have just, would they have just gotten up and done that milking that morning when you picked it up?
Oh,
or
no,
the
we
day
got-
That was the night before.
We got the night before and the morning's milk.
Okay.
But the night before it could sour if it was
There's a lot of people
Real humid.
had flowing wells, see, that was nice. And we'd drive right in there and pick the cans right out of the flowing well.
Where it was still cool, where the water
Yeah.
was still cool. There was no such thing as any kind of refrigeration then, was there?
No, we
They
had,
didn't even have ice houses or anything else.
we had them great big blankets we carried. Like when we get about halfway to Mount Pleasant, we'd take them blankets, soak them in cold water, and put them over our milk cans, you know.
This is in the warm weather.
Yeah.
It worked. That was before they pasteurized the milk, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but you used to put it through separator.
Well,
people
Separate
did.
the cream from the...
Well,
yeah,
no, they had to sell whole milk.
They had to sell
Oh,
whole
they're all-
milk. You couldn't sell them.
Whatever
he
milk they kept for the farm, they probably separated.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
took the
that's-
whole milk right to the.
So when you sold whole milk, you had like cream on top.
Yeah, the cream would come to the top whole milk.
So you take it to the dairy in Mount Pleasant.
The Borden's Dairy Company.
Borden's Dairy?
Borden's Milk Factory, we call it Borden's. Yeah, it's a Borden's there. And every wagon get in line. Sometimes we'd get close to the factory, we'd see somebody else come, we'd trot the horses so we'd get ahead of them, you know. Because
Salesman, hard sell.
then we put 50 cans, we take the 50 cans of milk, and that's 100 and some pounds,
Right.
and set them off in the wagon on top of their platform, and they take them, they dump them in the great big hopper.
Did they test that milk, Pa, before they put it in the hopper, or did they just
No,
put it all in? So if you had a sick cow, nobody knew about it.
Yeah, how long did you do that, Grandpa?
11 years.
11 years?
I think it was 11 or 14, maybe it was 14 years.
That's Grandma about the flu
I think
epidemic.
it was 14 years.
Well, the flu epidemic was at the time of the end of World War I.
Set on top,
Was during World,
set on top of the wagon with
and
a great big fur coat on, you know, in the winter time. Or on the, we used to haul with the sleighs about a couple
The-
months a year.
Sleighs? You
That was
used to
that was the best thing to haul milk was on the sleigh,
use? Really?
because it was low, you know. You could. Yeah, we hauled with the sleighs quite a bit.
Okay.
the flu epidemic was it came from the army camps at that time. There was one in Battle Creek, and it was the Asian flu, which was very bad in Europe. And some
They
of the
still, yeah, talk about Asian
yes,
flu
they
now.
do.
That was the beginning of
That was well, there was 4 young men, real big strapping young men that died right there from our community. Oh, but my mother and her brother acquired the flu in 1920. Now, my Uncle Frank got it into his family. He and his wife, and they had 4 children then, and they all had the flu. And Uncle Joe lived with them. Uncle Joe was a bachelor. And then my mother went over there to help take care of them, and another Aunt Mary, went over there. And they all ended up with the flu. But my mother died.
They
and-
caught it from them, just like,
Yeah, and there was no antibiotics at that time.
What- yeah,
and the
what were they
doctors
treating
couldn't
him
get out.
for?
Huh?
what did they treat him with?
There wasn't much they could treat him with. The doctor, the closest doctor, was 7 miles away, and he was just, you know, there were so many people sick with the flu, they just couldn't get out there. I think they did get out there once.
What'd they do?
Probably just gave him some medicine like aspirin or something like that. I have no idea what kind
So
of
did
medicine they got.
fever kill him? Is that what killed
Yeah,
him?
pneumonia. Pneumonia
Pneumonia.
killed him. Yeah, they all
Didn't
got
you-
pneumonia. And
Your mother though, your mother got it by going to take care of somebody else.
Uncle Frank's family, yeah. And
You know,
Uncle
we
Joe
all-
lived there.
We hauled milk with a wagon. We'd go to Mount Pleasant and pick up rough boxes and take them right down to Buchel City. You know, with rough boxes to put the caskets in. Put the casket in,
Right.
a wooden rough box, yeah. Have them sitting on our milk, empty milk
there was
cans,
just-
haul them way back to,
Really? You
Oh.
carried those with you?
Just lots of people died at
Now
that time.
people, is it people,
I know we brought Joe Fox, I remember that whole good.
people were dying so fast
Yeah.
at that?
Yeah.
But they all died of pneumonia. And,
Did that freak you out?
yeah. And
Didn't that, you know,
How old were you when you came to Lansing, and what year did you get married? When did you both decide did you decide to
well,
come
he
together?
came as folks.
I
He came
came,
with his folks, and I came.
I was 23 years old.
And he came with
22.
his folks, and I came later.
We came in 1923, and I was born in
And I
19.
came later.
And then you came with your parents in 1920?
Yeah, well, me and Ernie came out here once a year before that. We stayed over at Joe Smith's on Center Street. We worked in the Lansing Company.
Okay,
Then we went back
when you
home.
worked at the Lansing Company?
yeah, I remember that.
That was 1922.
Where did you live then, Pa?
Huh?
You lived with your mother and dad?
No, Mother and Dad wasn't here then yet.
Well, you
We
just
just
came.
we boarded on Center Street. Boarded.
Okay, so you and Ernie came without your mother and dad, all right? Yeah.
Ernie Huff.
Okay, so then when did you come, Mother?
I came that same summer.
Well, she
Okay.